Hello and welcome to this session. In today's session, we are going to see how to enable a button within the list view. So what we are trying to achieve is a search page. So the search page looks something like this. So the user can enter the details here in this particular place, and based on what the user has entered, the list view here gets refreshed. Now we want to have a button in each for against each of the items in the list view where the user can press and add that item to the cart, because the overall application that we are trying to develop is an e-commerce application. So this is the first tab, which is the search tab, and the second tab is the cart, and the third tab is quick order. Now just to show you a glimpse of how the application looks like, let me take you to the application. Yeah, so if you can look here, this is the application that we have developed so far. This is the search, the next one is a cart, and the third one is a quick order. Obviously, cart and quick order, we have not yet put any code there because we are just finishing off with search. Now in search, I can enter text here. So I can enter, and you will see that I try to enter Horlicks, and Horlicks has got searched and from the server, and it has got displayed. Now this is the item information. Now this supposedly should have been an item logo, but for the time being I've just kept it static as a application logo. And this is a button here, pressing which I should be able to add this item to the cart. So right now if you click on this, nothing happens. This is not yet enabled. Coming to the code, this is the search.java class which manages the entire fragment functionality. Now what we have already done is that in the on create view of that particular fragment, we have initialized and mapped all the different elements. One is the search element, which is let me take you to the, so this is the search element, and this is the search results list view, which is here, and then this is the barcode button here, and this is the audio button here. So these two buttons are used. One is to scan a barcode and get the result here in the search view. The other one is to use a speech to text conversion of Google to get whatever you speak back here. If you want to look at the functionalities of these two buttons, there are other sessions in the same playlist. Please go ahead and watch those. Now coming here, once the details have been displayed here, this is the button which we want to enable. So we have to look at search results list view more closely. Now search results dot list view. Okay, let's just scroll down. Yeah, so search is nothing but the search view, which is here. So once user has entered results in the search view or entered some details in the search view, in this case it is HORL. Now an async task gets called, which is managing the connection to the server and getting the data in the form of a JSON and passing the data and then passing it on to the adapter of the list view so that the results can be displayed. So we will see that in the on post execute method of the async task, which is my async task, there is a call to the adapter for the list view. So let's just go to on post execute. Don't worry about the code too much. The source code is available on my website semicolon.blogspot.in. The link is mentioned in the description of the video, so you can get a complete source code there for your reference. If you can see that in the on post execute, obviously I'm checking for errors, and in the no error part of the code, what I am doing is I am calling the search adapter. Now search results dot set adapter, and then I am calling the custom result adapter that I have created for this particular job that we are trying to do. And this is nothing but a list. It's a type of extends the base adapter, and most of the functionalities are similar to what we see in a base adapter. So One line of change that we definitely need to do is that inside the base adapter, we need to have an on-click listener for that button, because right now there is nothing there, so nothing is going to happen. So inside the base adapter or the search results adapter that we have created for the list view, which is search results, the rest of the things remains the same as it was earlier. We go to get view, and in get view, what we see is that here we are just moving the details of the item, that particular item, to the product name, MRP, and BB value, MRP value, etc. And then we are basically displaying the results on and the list view. Now, one thing that we have to add here is this line of code, which is folder.add to cart, which is the name of the button, dot set on click listener, and new my personal listener. Uh, the name would be button add to cart, which is the parameter that we are passing, and then temp product is the details of the product and context. Now, the details of the product is required here because we would have to add to cart based on the details of this temp product. So that is why the temp product is also being passed, and context obviously is being passed. So now this line of code is going to uh, call my personal click listener every time there is a click on this button. Notice that this is very important that we pass the temp product, because this is the only reference that we have with respect to which particular item was added. So because if I can just show you the emulator, let's assume that instead of Horlicks I have done Kellogg's, and let's assume that there are three products here. So there is a add to cart button available in all these three products. So now how do I know which particular add to cart was pressed? The only way of knowing that is if I pass the details of this temp product as well, which is the details again in that same row where this add to cart was pressed. Now let's have a look at the my personal click listener. Here it is. My personal my personal click listener implements on click listener, and these are just the variables which we have initialized. And in my personal listener, this is the constructor method where the parameter variables are mapped to the local variables. And on click, this is the place where most of the work happens. We are going to put the logic for adding the elements to the cart. Now, what we are trying to do is that in the cart, I want to have a restriction that the number of items or any one item, the maximum quantity that a customer can order is 10. I don't want to allow the user to order 100 quantity of an item, because I may not be able to fulfill those kind of orders. So what we are checking here is that first we need to check if the item is already there in the cart or not. If the item is already there in the cart, which means that the user has already added at least the item there, we are going to increase the quantity by 1. But when we are increasing the quantity by 1, we are going to check if it has already reached 10. If it has reached 10, we are not going to do anything. In case the item or the product is not there in the cart yet, then we are going to add the item to the cart. It's a fresh instance that we're going to add. Now you can see that there are a lot of codes available here with respect to managing the database. Now this is not a good way of doing it. Ideally, you should have a database helper which you should call to get all the database execution done. But because this is the first application that we are developing, and just to keep it more readable and more understandable, I have kept the database handling part of the code here itself. But I would again like to say that the better way of handling it is to use a separate DB helper for this. So what we are doing here is that we are opening the SQLite database, which is Basket Buddy in our case, and then we are trying to get the details of product quantity, product value from cart, where product code is nothing but the product code that we have got from the product name dot product code, which is this. So as you can understand, the product name is the object that we have received from the call, and this is a local object that we have created and we have mapped it here. So now all the data which was passed is available in this product underscore name. So now what we are trying to see is that for the same product code which has been passed, if the item is already there in cart or not. This is the table. If cc.getCount is equal to 0, which means that the product is not there in the cart. So what we are doing is we are just executing an SQL statement to add the item into the cart with all the relevant details that are available. Okay, and the quantity, as you can see, we have hard coded it to 1 because the first instance this item is getting added. Now also we are going to show a toast message to the customer or the user that this particular item was added to the cart. Now let's assume that the item is already there in the cart. So this part of the else part of the code will get executed. Here what we are doing is that uh, we are just running the loop and trying to understand that and trying to capture what is the quantity and what is the value of that particular item um, in the cart. So we are more or less interested in the value, sorry, the quantity, and the value is just a multiplication of the BB price with the quantity. Okay, so we are just capturing these two details from the uh, database cursor and capturing it into these local variables. Now the next check that we are doing is if the temp quantity is less than 10. Remember which I said that I don't want to have the user having more than 10 elements, so I'm just restricting it here. If the quantity is not already 10, if it is less than 10, then I'm going to go ahead and increase the quantity by 1. So if you look at it, we are updating the cart with the product quantity, which is the temp product quantity plus 1 here, and where the product code is obviously the product code which is currently being used. And then we are sending a toast message, which is the product name has been added to cart. Okay, so this is how we are basically managing the button functionality for the add to cart. Let's just go ahead and run this. So I'm just going to go ahead and search something here. So it returns me three items, and let's just say that I want to add Kellogg. So I just press it here, and as you can see, the toast message comes item Kellogg added to cart. Now I can also press the Kel button, and you will see that it says item Kel added to cart. I can delete what the search parameters and write Kisan Maggi ketchup hot and sweet. I can press the add to cart, and in that case Kisan Maggi hot and sweet was added to cart. So as you can see that it is working perfectly fine. As we implement the code for the cart, we will be able to see that this gets displayed also properly in the cart part of it. Okay, thank you for watching this session. If you like the tutorial, please go ahead and press the like button. Also do subscribe. We are going ahead with this interesting project of create your first Android e-commerce application. The source code is available in at semicolon.blogspot.in. The link is available at the bottom of this video in the descriptions part. Thank you.